Jacob, I'll let you take care of the sound as we go. It needs to be changed. I'd like to welcome everyone today. Obviously, I'm Amy Tabor-Beard, and I just want to begin by saying that I'm very proud of all of these girls today. They've all worked very hard, and we have a gentleman helping out today too as well, and he's worked hard also. And I want everybody here to acknowledge the fact that it can be a little scary to get up front and perform in front of people. So please make sure that you support these kids 100% regardless of what goes on and how they do, because sometimes nerves can, really play havoc with you. But I just want them to know up front, I'm proud of them regardless of how things go today. They've done the work it takes to be here. And I had my Amyism already happened, so we're just going to get it over with. I made enough programs and biographies. I made enough biographies, 2 per family, 3 if you have 2 sets of parents. I made the mistake of not telling the person handing them out for me that I wanted 1 for each of my students and then for the set of parents. So, if there are any parents out here right now who do not have a biography, please stand up. Okay. Stay standing. Okay, now. Oh, no, wait, you know what? Sit back down. Please. We're up to a good start. Okay, any parents that have 2 biographies on you, stand up, please. If you have 2 biography booklets. Oh, there's our thieves right there. Okay, no, wait, Kathy, don't hand them out. I'm going to have Jacob come forward and just hand him one of your set, okay? So Jacob, if you'll come forward and just take one of those from each of them. This is to keep costs down because I write biographies on the kids, and they get quite lengthy, but that way the families each have one. And while they're getting those, I want my students to stand up who don't have a biography right now. Stand up who don't have one. And stay standing. Okay, now the parents who don't have a biography and the students who don't have a biography, please stand up. Okay, you should have enough to go now for them, so if you want to hand them out. And if not, you have my word, I'll fix it later. So, but I encourage you to read them. They show the progress of how the kids have done over the years. And also there are some stories in there. The longer they know me and I know them, they share stories. So there's some little fun anecdotes in there as well. There's one other thing I wanted to say. I wanted to tell you that things can go wrong when they're doing recital. And I reassured the kids, if something like that happens, not to worry about it. I was playing the Lord's Prayer at church one time with my friend Craig, and I was up here and he was down there 2 steps. And I went to move all 5 pages over, and 4 of them flew up in the air while I was moving them. So I caught it with my elbows and caught all but 1 page of the Lord's Prayer. And the other one flew way across the pulpit and landed. So Craig just vamps because he knows that's all he has to do. So I take my time and I get the 4 pages together. And then I'm praying. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do on the last page? So I prayed really hard. And so I memorized the last line. I turned away from the audience, walked down the steps, and finished the Lord's Prayer behind Craig. So those things happen, but that's okay. We need laughter and we need levity. So we'll show the support to them regardless of what happens today. So with that, I want everybody to relax, have a good time. This is for fun, and you can be proud of all your kids. Thank you. playing of the Lord's Prayer. And the only reason we're not opening with it today and closing with it is because two of the students that are participating in that are at a concert right now, so we're going to end with it today. But I'd like to share right now that the reason I open with the Lord's Prayer is it is my way of always making sure I take the time to first and foremost thank God for I wouldn't be here today without His healing, and for that grace for all the years I was sick, for all these wonderful students, and for the parents, and for those of you who can't stay through the end, that it usually goes here, but we're going to save it till the end because we have to today. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you. And are there any way we can open any windows, Jacob, or not? No? Okay, thank you. case you didn't get a program, the kids have been encouraged over the last couple of years to be as creative as they would like to be for duets and solos. So you'll see some creative things today as well. Sorry. Colleen Stride is sick today, so I will be standing in for her to play with Castro Falcon. I'm beginning to think my Winnebago kids don't like me. Last week, one of them, she couldn't come, bless her heart. She had to be with her grandma this weekend for some major surgery. Then last week, one of my girls came in with a fat lip, and I asked how it happened, and it was her duet partner hit her in the mouth with a softball in PE. And then I got a phone call that one of my kids broke her arm from Winnebago, and then today Colleen's sick. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's just all coincidence, but we'll miss them, and I'm sorry they can't be here, but we will share the tape with them. And just everybody who's here can share how much fun it's been today with those other kids. There's also another change in the program. Next season accompanist is going to be Craig Dietz today. He pitched in at the last minute, so I really appreciate that. And also, you might want to listen closely to this solo. You might have heard it once or twice in the past if you've been my student. It's the Carnival of Venice, and it is written in such a way that some of the movements, if you listen closely, will sound like there are two flutes playing instead of one. please come forward. Anybody seen elementary school? Yeah, we'll have to make do. didn't want to say anything before they started because they had surprises for you and for me as well. There were things I didn't know they were going to do. Now that looks easy possibly from the audience, but trust me, it's not. I don't know. If you think about something you do with your hands, imagine you're doing one hand on the computer and having someone else do the other hand and trying to type something up. And they make it look easy, but it's very, very hard to coordinate. So it took a lot of work and a lot of effort. Is Ashley Whitlock here yet? No, or Allison. Okay, well, we will continue then with James Skinner. Actually, before I have Michelle come up, Jamie has to leave, but she's receiving an award today, and I really want to make sure she gets it before she goes. And so I'd like to at least do that one right now so that she can get to our next concert. And I give out several awards every year, and one of them that I give out is called the Elephant and the Butterfly Award. And a few years ago, I was struggling. I was trying to get a student of mine to play out more and play faster, and it seemed like no matter what I did, I couldn't get her to progress. So I talked to a friend of mine who's a wonderful musician, and she told me the analogy of the elephant and the butterfly. And she said, you know, you can work with an elephant all you want and teach it dance steps and everything you want to teach it, but you can never turn it into a butterfly. So she was saying there are two types of players, and some of them just, they're not going to go any further than where they're at. And then you have those that are like little sponges and they absorb everything and they just keep progressing all the time. Well, I took that advice and it made me refocus my attention on that student's strengths. So I went back and I did that and I kept working from where we were at. And it was about time for her lesson one day, and an amazing thing happened. The front door flew open, and guess what? In flew a butterfly. So you might not be able to turn an elephant into a butterfly, but with a lot of encouragement, you can teach it how to fly. So this goes to the student or students who have come a long way in the last year or 2 years, and everything's just clicked for them, and they're playing musically and absorbing everything that they could possibly can. And so Jamie Skinner is one of the recipients. So Jamie, if you want to come forward for that now. Okay, the butterfly, go figure. Okay, thank you. Is Ashley Whitlock here? No, they're at another concert. Okay, Michelle Gilson, you and your group can come. Butterfly. I'll finish the other half of that person who got that one. The other recipient also has grown tremendously this year and gone from struggling to turning into a big, beautiful butterfly with her music. And so the other recipient for the Elephant and Butterfly Award is Megan Hatt. Megan? Emmeline's the one who has the phony excuse about broken arm. If you can see, she has a corsage. Melissa Ebert's mother made that for her to make her feel better today, so I thought that was awful sweet. It even has little music notes on there. So, okay, the next award. Actually, right before I do that, I do not want to forget to share something very exciting. I first want to say to all the ladies, you were all wonderful and you did a great job. So, congratulations. You make me proud, and I'm very, very blessed by you all. So, we've got a few awards here, but before I keep forgetting, before I share that, we all come from humble beginnings, from the newest beginner to my most advanced student. And I had a former student who I heard from a week ago, and some of you might remember her, Joanna Messer from Polo. And Joanna took lessons from me years ago when she was in grade school. And her mother called me up on Monday to tell me Joanna had just won the New York Flute Club competition for young flutists competition, which is huge. We're talking New York City. And that's extremely phenomenal because there are thousands and thousands of phenomenal flute players out there. And I talked to her this week, and she's still as humble as she always was, and still as excited and on fire to keep doing her music. And I was sharing with her that she didn't always want to give her flute lessons either. I remember watching her walk up my street in junior high and grade school with her flute bag and whipping it around in circles, just taking her time to get to her lesson. And so, she didn't always know for sure that's what she wanted to do, but look what happened. She stuck it out, and she began loving it more and more, and ended up going into it, and she's still loving it. And I would just like Mariel Messer just to stand briefly to acknowledge Joanna. Thank you, Mariel. Okay, now we're going to get to the awards. I do several awards. The first one I'm going to give out is for the Best Kept Notebook. Now, some of my students are under the impression that they keep the notebook for me. However, believe it or not, they're supposed to be keeping it for themselves. It's basically a journal of where they have started. They're supposed to write in it what they do, how they practice, how they're working on their music, etc. So 2 months down the line or a year down the line, when they've either progressed or stayed the same, they can look back in their notebook and see why they have done that. So there are 2 recipients for the Best Kept Notebook. The first one, she is very honest in her notebook. She says when she doesn't practice, and she writes everything down that she practices, from her flashcards to doing long tones to tapping rhythms. So the first recipient for the Best Kept Notebook is Victoria Dunbar. And I'm going to have Emmeline hand this out. I can't afford to get lots of gifts to everybody, but I just got pencils for everybody, so I'm going to have Emmeline hand those to the ladies, and you can pass them all the way across and take one. And the other recipient for the Best Kept Notebook, I don't think that she's here yet, is Allison Smith. Okay, for the most amount of practice, obviously that speaks for itself. So the student who practiced the most, she averaged 5 hours a week for practice time, and the recipient for that is Clay Green. Clay? Okay, now, something that's even more important than how long you practice is how you practice. I've had students in the past that have come in with 4 hours of practice a week, but they've not progressed because they're just playing. They're not practicing. And so you really have to focus on your practice. And I encourage my kids to do 5 days a week at 30 minutes. And when they do that consistently and they're focused, they can accomplish as much as if they were going to do 4 hours or 5 or 6. So this year I decided to give an award for the student that uses their practice time the most effectively and is focused. So I got her a magnet. And it says, "Experience is a wonderful thing. It enables you to recognize a mistake when you make it again." And that's what you have to do when you're practicing. So the recipient for that is Michelle Kittleson. And the next award is for the student with the best attitude. And again, that speaks for itself. This student was going through some trying times this year with doubts and things like that we all go through. And she decided, she made up her mind that she was going to think positive and just go for everything that she wanted to do. And I saw her go from this timid, shy girl into this positive, bold student that after she did her auditions for districts, I asked how they went. She said, "They went great." And that's what I want to hear. You don't have to make it to impress me. You don't have to make it to please me. I just want to hear that, you believe in yourself and that you did it. And hands down, this award, she's going to get Optimism by the Acre. And I'm going to have to borrow it. There's a lot of really good quotes in here. So that this award goes to Emily Peterson. And the next award is for the student with the most potential. And usually that goes to a student who has just started, and this student does her full-time every week, and she lives through several pages in her lessons, and she likes a challenge all the time. So the recipient for that is Morgan Buck. And the next one goes for the most courageous student. That's why it's a lion. So this student, she had only been studying flute with me since the summer, and she's in 8th grade. And they had contest in February, and I picked out a solo for her to do, and she was scared to death. And I just reassured her. I said, if you don't want to do it, or if I don't feel you're ready to do it, I said, I won't let you go in there and embarrass yourself. So I just asked her to work on it, and she worked on it, and she was ready to do it, and she followed through. And we're talking a student who's only played 6 months going into a competition where people have played their flute for 4 years. So the most courageous award goes to Kara Parnell. And then the most improved also speaks for itself. And there's 2 recipients. You guys are getting so good, I have to give double awards out all the time. And the most improved, the first recipient, she also goes through a lot of music when she comes to her lesson. She always does her full amount of practice time and lives through her music pretty well and is very accurate. So the first recipient is Anna Ellis. And the same can be said for my other student, and that is Erna Scholl. And the next award goes for perseverance. And to me, perseverance is kind of one of the most important parts of life, let alone just flute playing. It's the person who, even when they fail at something or they don't achieve what they wanted, they bounce right back and they go for the next goal. And if you've read your biographies, I'm sure you probably have an idea of who I'm talking about. But this student had worked very hard all summer to audition for districts in All-State, and All-State was her goal. And she was just as ready as everyone else. And unfortunately, she didn't make it. And I called her up because I was sure she'd be disappointed, and called her to talk to her, and I asked how she was doing, and she goes, oh, I'm good. She goes, now I have more time to work on my auditions for college. And that takes a really strong person to do that, and it's a very admirable quality. And so she did the same with that, and she went and did her auditions, and one of the colleges even offered her money, but she got offered more money at another college for her academics. So she's going to get the same magnet I gave Michelle, because I think that works for her too. She's going to get some stickers and flips, and she's going to get footprints in the sand because she has to keep pushing forward in order to persevere, and that goes to Becky Hoffert. Is Ashley Whitlock here yet? No. Okay, I would like all of my graduating students or students who are leaving to come forward, and you can leave your flutes behind you, Melissa Ebert. And then you can have a seat now if you'd like. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, wait, one more award, I forgot. The top honor. The top honor award is called the Jane E. Schuler Award, and that is named after my former flute student, who I studied with from the age of 16 to about 19 or 20. And she was a fabulous teacher, and she laid the foundation for me for my music. She's very vivacious and bubbly and very contagious, and she loved her music. And the bottom line is, if you don't love your music, your audience isn't going to love it either. And she did what it took to be a good musician and a fine musician. When she worked hard, and when she played hard. And she had cancer. She developed cancer, and she died at the age of 33. And, she had 100 private students before she died. I had 35. Would you like to sit through her recitals? But she was just phenomenal. So I try to pick students that epitomize those qualities. And there are 2 recipients, and the first one is Melissa Ebert. And the other one is Ashley Whitlock, but she's not here yet. So, oh wait, there she is. Ashley, would you like to still do your solo for us? And the Lord's Prayer, what would you like to do first? You get the option because you're running behind and trying to catch your breath.
I can do my solo. It's up to you. I'm fine.
Are you? Are you warmed up? You're warmed up okay?
What's that?
Are you warmed up okay after that 2-hour concert you just went to?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, we're just going to break a little from here, and we'd like to hear Ashley come up and do her solo, and then we will also do the Lord's Prayer, and then I'll finish roasting my seniors and the students who are leaving me. So. Okay, she might be able to hold a note longer than me now, because she hung on to that last one pretty long. Everyone playing in the Lord's Prayer, please come forward. We're going to end with that, and then I'll do the roasting of the seniors. And we are taking an offertory. I'm not a member of this church, so we take an offertory as a way of thanking them for the use of its facilities. So we'll be taking that. It is optional, so if you can give, wonderful. If not, it's not a problem. Jason Hemmer, would you mind helping? Jacob Person is in the back with the offertory. And Brett Hemmer, would you mind helping? Jim Gallant? And then Jacob. While they're getting the pages, I just wanted to say, this is the song that I always open with, which I mentioned earlier. And I decided a few years ago to re-edit it to make it playable for a trio of flutes. So every year, any students that are leaving or graduating are given the music, and then we play it as a group together. Student Recital. I get to give them their senior reward, which has, they get to pick out a little plaque and then an emblem, and has the years they studied, and then I also tell little stories on them and have little gag gifts for them. So, Megan, if you read her bio, has come a long way in the last couple of years, and Megan and her family are going to be missionaries in Honduras as of the fall. So I asked Megan about it, and she told me that when she was 7 or 8, she felt that God had put it on her heart to be a missionary. So she told her mom and dad, and their response was, then you better pray for a husband who wants to be a missionary, so that will take place. Parents, you might want to listen a little bit more closely to your kids. That message was for them. Their whole family is going to be missionaries. So it's amazing what God can do for a 7 or 8-year-old. But I was trying to think what I could give Megan, something funny that has happened. And the reason they allow me to share these stories is because they get to hear all of my embarrassing stories. So I came up with one, but I couldn't come up with another. But her dear closest friends, Clay and Melody, helped me out with that. So the first thing was when she first started and she couldn't get a note out, or something wasn't working right, she'd stop and she'd look at her flute, and she'd put it back up, and she'd go to play again, and it still didn't work, and she'd flick it again. I let this go on for about 3 times, and then I finally looked at her and I go, Megan, hon, it's not the flute, it's you. So then she had to have her flute fixed, and she brought it in, and she was so excited because it was working. And so she put it together, and she blew into it, and not a sound came out. And I'm like, oh, funny, Megan, that's real funny. And she had a horrible look on her face, like, and I'm like, you're not kidding? No. So I'm like, give me your flute. So she gives it to me, and I can't get a sound. And I look at it first, and she does that again. She looks at her flute, and all of a sudden, a little light bulb went on over her head, and she looked in the other end of her flute. She left her cleaning rod in there. So I thought, what could I give her to, make her remember those stories? So she's going to get a magnifying glass, so when she needs to inspect her flute more closely, that will help out to get the job going a little more quickly. And when all else fails and she can't find the problem with that, all she has to do is look in this mirror and she'll know the problem. Becky, Hufford, please step forward. They're also hesitant all of a sudden. Okay. Okay, Becky tends to procrastinate just a little bit. And her parents know that too. She'd come to a lesson and I'd be like, so how are you? And she was always kind of flustered. And she's like, oh, I have 3 term papers due and I have another project. And I'm like, so, did you practice your 2.5 hours all in one day? Yep. Hard to believe that this girl is getting as full a ride as you can on academics at college, but it is true. Well then, she was talking to me and sharing some stories with me. Now this is a girl when I first met her wouldn't say boo. Now I can't shut her up in her lessons. So she was telling me a story that happened over the weekend. She was at her girlfriend's and her car wouldn't start. It was late at night. And of course she calls her dad, and of course the dead of winter, and says, Dad, my car won't start. Now he was asleep, mind you. And he's like, all right, I'll be over. So he gets there and he looks at her and he goes, is there gas in the car? Nope. I thought it was a funny story. Becky thought it was a funny story. Her dad didn't think it was a funny story. So I thought, what can I give her, to help her out in these areas? Well, I figure she's going to procrastinate like she does now. She's really going to be cramming for exams, so she's going to need something to keep her up at night. So she's going to get this thing of Mountain Dew. So that'll carry her through her first evening. And then I thought, what could I do to help her with the gas thing? So I drew a gas gauge. Put a little string on it, and she can hang that from her rearview mirror, and it will remind her to put gas in the car. And then I got her this little keychain, and I wrote rule number 1, fill car with gas, and she put that off her keys. And then it has an address book, and mine, of course, is the first one in it. And I'm very proud of this picture because my dad used to make fun of me because I couldn't draw a straight line with a straight edge. It took me like an hour to do that. So don't tell me I don't love these kids. And she's also going to get her senior award. boldly stepped forward. Ashley was kind of smug a few months ago, and I said, oh, I said, you know I tell stories on you guys, and she's like, yeah, and I go, well, you think I don't have a story on you? And she's like, no, I don't think you have a story on me, and I'm like, oh, well. So I was trying to think of some, and she came to her lesson once, and she got her solo book out, and I said to her, I said, so, how do you like the new solo book you got? Have you been playing through the solos? And she looks at me, and she says, Amy, you have asked me that same question every week for the last 2 months straight. Well, fine, I don't think she pays me enough to insult me. I should have said, well, you're short. I can improve my memory. You're never going to get taller. So I was thinking, what could I give her? So I made a tape for her. And I used an old Christmas tape. So I have an Amyism that goes with this. This tape says, so Ashley, how do you like your new solo book? Have you tried any of the solos lately? The whole tape. But the nice thing is, and that took time too, you get to hear all the Christmas music in the background for some reason. So she like gets a double bonus. And the other thing, since she insulted me, a stack of phone books for her to sit on and stand up. You know, I have another award I have to give quick before I give these two. I always do a fun award every year, a joke award, and I forgot to give it this year. So you're going to be able to figure out who they are ahead of time. So I'm going to tell you that the recipient are going to be Amy and Erica Scholl, and I'm going to tell you a little story on them. When they come to their lessons, when Amy would have her lesson, I'd come out and Erica would be asleep on the couch. And this happened like 4 or 5 times. Well, then one week their mom came in, and she was waiting, and she fell asleep on my couch. And then about a month ago, Erica had her lesson, and Amy fell asleep on my couch. And I woke her up, and I said, you guys remember I do biographies and awards every year? And Amy goes, no. And I go, yes. So I had taken a picture of their mother when she was asleep on my couch. And she knew it was on my refrigerator. So my friend Glenda took it for me, and I had her enlarge it and put it on a bag, and it says all in the family. Now, you know when girls are their age in middle school, everything embarrasses them, right? Especially what mom and dad do. Well, I'm on mom and dad's side. I expect to see these girls carrying these bags every week at their flute lesson, whether they want to or not. So ladies, you can come get your award. Macy. Macy was a little more challenge for me because she's very new to me this year, so I didn't really have a lot of stories on her. But she wants to be a psychologist. And from being a patient all these years in the hospital, I know that in order to be a good doctor, you must first be a good patient. So I'm going to be the doctor, and she is going to be my patient. So I'm going to give you 6 words, and I want you to tell me the first word that pops into your head when I say it. So clear your mind. Are you ready? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? I said clear your mind. What are you thinking of? There you go. Okay, we're ready. First word is Lizzie. Close enough. Flute. Brown noser. I have so much empathy, don't I? Swimsuit. She wore one from the age age of 1 to 5 and wouldn't get out of it. No. I had my spies. Okay, Brian. One of them is her boyfriend, and the other Brian is her dear friend, who she has sat by his bedside since he has had a bad accident this year. So she's just a loyal, good-hearted person. Grace. You're off to a pretty good start here. And Amy. Oh, big time drama. Okay, well, I saved one other test. This is the inkblot test. Now, the good news is you did okay on this part. So you only have to get 1 out of 3 right here in order to pass. Okay? So I'm going to hold it up. I want you to tell me what it looks like. I'll show the audience first. Second one. Okay, there's one left. Hopefully she can. Okay, she didn't get any of those right. They were all inkblots. How hard was that? So she gets that, and she gets her senior award. So Maisie, there you go. Melissa. Come here, Melissa. Save the best for last? I think not. Melissa has taken over the role of the previous student who used to be the last tonight, which is they stay for 2 hours. So the first hour we do a lesson in duets, and the second hour we chat about the whole world. So over time, you know, when they're at my house, they get to know Paul as well. Well, when she first started lessons, Paul would say to me, he didn't know their names, but he knew their cars. He's like, yeah, that one student he had, she drives by every day on her way to school, on the way home, I waved to her, never waves at me. And I go, who is it? And he described the car, and I go, well, that's Melissa Ebert. So I told Melissa, and she's like, well, I didn't even see him. So then it was this argument all the time, who waved to who first. Well, then she was there one day, and she was taking her lesson, and he came in, and he said, your license plate was hanging loose, so I fixed it. You watch it out for my kids, just like I do. So she was very grateful. So she's like, what can I do to thank him, you know? And I go, well, I don't know, he likes NASCAR stuff. So she took a picture of Paul and I, a separate picture of Paul, and she superimposed his heroes on a cup with him and put our picture on a cup to thank him. And then Melissa is very gifted artistically, so for birthdays and Valentine's Day, she made me a heart with Paul and I's name, and she made Paul something with the number 3. And so she always wanted to make sure that he felt part of the family just like I did, as part of the whole Flute family. And then about homecoming time, the Hobo kids are allowed to decorate the football players and cheerleaders' front yards with toilet paper, because they'll clean it up later. And Melissa said to me, she goes, oh, we should decorate your yard. Oh, there's an idea. And, yeah, I'm out front doing cheers all the time. So I come home late one evening for Bible study, and yes, it was late. Glenda held us there forever, all the time. And I drive in the driveway, and I go in, and Paul's half asleep, and I said, oh, well, we got TV. He goes, no, we didn't, but the whole town did. And I go, no, we did. And I said, I know who did it. And he goes, well, how do you know that? And I said, because it's too artistic and decorative to be anybody but Melissa Ebert. So the next morning, Paul gets up, and he's late. He's running late. And I hear him open and close the front door, and then I hear him open and close the front door again. And curiosity got better of me after like 5 minutes, and I got up and I go to the kitchen. Here's this huge poster that says, "We love Paul." So I called him up on the phone, and I said, "Well, apparently I am no longer the favorite person in this house." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, the poster." And he goes, "What poster?" He goes, "I was running late. I just threw it on the table." And I said, "It says we love Paul, not Amy." And he's like, "What can I say? Everybody loves me." So much sympathy from him. So anyway, I talked to Melissa about it, and I come to find out that she wasn't in it alone. And I considered telling you that the other two girls were Ellen Hopkins and Margaret Ebert, but I didn't want to embarrass them, so I'm not going to tell you their names. And Melissa said that we foiled her plans because she wanted to get into Paul's cab, and she wanted to put that poster in his back window and then stuff it with balloons so that when he got in the truck the next morning, he'd only have time to get a few balloons out, and he'd have to drive all the way to work with "We Love Paul" in the back window, because Paul is very shy and very modest. So they were actually doing it as a trick, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, everybody loves me." So anyway, so Melissa just kept doing those kinds of nice things, and then Christmas time came around, and many of you have seen, she had said that, we didn't have enough lights outside our house at Christmas. Well, we don't have any lights outside at our house at Christmas. And I said, "Well, we were going for the same award that my parents got when I was in high school." And she said, "Well, what was that?" And I said, "Well, we got honorable mention for the darkest house in town." And I said to Paul that Melissa wanted us to put up lights, and he's like, "Well, let her put them up." So she came in before Christmas, and she made, and it is gorgeous, an exact replica out of cardboard of our house. I mean, exact, with Christmas lights around it. And she told Paul that way he could decorate the outside of his house every Christmas. So another thing that she has going is her and Jamie Skinner are fighting to see who can get the most pictures on my refrigerator. And they've been competing with that, and they're tied right now. So Melissa and I were in cahoots together, because Jamie has another year, so Melissa has to win. And Melissa came up with the idea she was going to blow a huge picture of herself and put it on the side of the refrigerator. So she's like, "What should I do? What should I do?" And I'm like, I don't know. And I went on my refrigerator, and there's a picture of me and Paul. And I'm like, let's get Paul on this one too. So I find a picture of Paul and I told Melissa, "Cut my head out of this picture, put your head in it, and blow it up. That way we'll get Paul and Jamie all at once." So she did, and she's going to hold that up now. And what's it say? Beat this, Jamie. Beat this one, Jamie. And that's who Mayor's called to. Okay, so what to get for Melissa now that she's leaving me? Well, toilet paper, since she used a whole roll in my house. What am I telling you? No, the recital's done. No trespassing sign. Now, there's another thing that Melissa does. She emotionally beats herself up every lesson. She comes in, she plays one note, and she is mad at herself. All the time. So I thought, what can I do to help her, not beat herself up? So, I took two of her lovely pictures off my refrigerator, and I got 2 hair balls, and I put her faces on here, and I had a hockey stick. Okay, well, thank you all. I went much longer than expected. What? What? You didn't take it during the Lord's Prayer? Okay, we'll take a quick offering. Please. Anybody want to sing a song? Thank you all for coming. I'm proud of all you young ladies, and thank you parents for your support, and Carol for accompanying, Jacob Person for his help today, Craig Deeds for accompanying, Faye Hammer for accompanying, everybody who showed up today. Please join us downstairs if you can, and we'll see you